Minister, I've got two areas of specific concern to the agricultural sector. There's ongoing concerns that TAFE Tasmania isn't delivering to agricultural needs. There's concern that it's not completely fit for purpose. Wondering what engagement you have with TFGA to understand their concerns and to improve the delivery for the ag sector. And a subset to that as well, you would know from the North West Coast, concerns about young kids out of the ag sector actually attending TAFE where accommodation isn't available, sending our kids into the cities from the rural and regional areas and not being supported with that.
Yeah, so on the first one, really pleased of the support that the TFGA made publicly for our investment into the Freer Farm Centre of Excellence in the agricultural space. And I know that they've been big supporters of that investment. It has actually been really industry-led, our work at Freer Farm. There's $1.5 million investment in the budget, but there's also been a range of different investments that have been made over the last couple of years because we recognise that Freer Farm is an outstanding opportunity for our learners here in Tasmania. There is a massive site there, some beautiful northwest red soil, and driving investment in that facility is critical. I was there to launch the New Holland tractor. I'm sure you'd be a John Deere man, I reckon, Mr. Chair, but we don't mind a bit of blue as well. And that provides training to 300 students a year, roughly. From around the state. We also have strong partnerships with the Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture. They've got sites at Forth and Elliott, and I know that TasTAFE and UTAS view their partnerships so that they have a strong career pathway from school through to vet and potentially university as a critical part of the work that they do. So that's major investments that we're making in physical infrastructure, but so that it can help drive our capacity and also enable our learners to learn on the most contemporary and up-to-date tools and technology, because agriculture is now a high technology industry, major capital investment, and really welcome the TFGA's ongoing support of our new Agricultural Centre of Excellence.
Minister, you're ignoring the actual question, which was TAFE.
Is that a point of order?
Point of order. The TFGA are expressing ongoing concern about other TAFE deliverables for ag training. They're saying that it's not fit for purpose and not considering specific industry contributions to the training. Outside those areas that you're talking about, my question was, will you continue to engage with TFGA about their concerns for skills and training in the ag sector?
Yeah, so I mean, outside of our Agricultural Centre of Excellence that we've established, which is really an extraordinary step forward in Tasmania, we'll continue to engage with our ag sector because, Mr. Speaker, we know how important it is. We want to drive that forward. Freer Farm really was quite dilapidated when we came to government, and the major investments that we're making there have really stood it in good stead. Now, of course, we're working closely with the ag sector around our industry skills compacts. Yeah. This was a recommendation that came out of the PESRAC process, the Premier's Economic Social Recovery Advisory Committee, which was a COVID process, which I know State Growth were very heavily involved in. And what we're doing there is working with industry across our economy, specifically as well in agriculture, to make sure that government, industry and particular and registered training organisations are delivering the needs of the future. There was a strong acknowledgement from industry about the need to step
Minister,
up.
if I could ask my next question. You have said that you'll continue to engage with TFGA. I've got a specific question through you, Chair, for the Minister. You've said yes. I'm not sure that you need to keep talking. We've only got 20 minutes left. I've got a specific concern about shearing schools, Minister. There has been a grant fund over 4 years for shearing schools across Tasmania. That funding's come to an end. Across our wool, lamb and mutton industries, it's a $277 million contribution to the Tassie economy. People advocating for these shearing schools are increasingly frustrated about the inability to engage with government around a commitment going forward. What commitment do you provide for funding of ongoing shearing schools in Tasmania?
Yeah, so we regularly engage with the agricultural sector and specifically the wool sector, and we have a contestable funding pool that we make available to all industries in Tasmania.
Eligible. They're not eligible. You're referring them
so-
to
and-
grants
and-
Ms.
that are not
Finlay,
eligible.
Ms. Finlay,
Perhaps I'll
please let
pass
the
over
Minister
to,
answer.
to the team shortly that might be able to clear up some of your misconceptions there. But we work closely with them. We really want to see them work through the contestable training process, because that's important. It's important that we're delivering maximum value for money for our taxpayer skills training funding, and also supporting that industry to grow. There's a range of different supports and investment that are available there.
Did you specifically
and of
detail
course,
the-
I
Ms.
mentioned-
Finlay,
grants
please.
that are
Ms. Finlay,
eligible.
please let the Minister answer the question.
Thank you, Chair. And I mentioned our skills compacts before, industry skills compacts. That's important. But I'll pass over to the department to speak further about the work and the importance of that contestable process.
Thank you. Yes. So just in relation to the earlier question as well, there is a workforce development forum for the agricultural sector on the 3rd of August. So we expect to have a fairly deep engagement with all of the stakeholders in terms of their needs through that process. In terms of wool specifically, we acknowledge that there are some shortages there, like many parts of the economy are experiencing at the moment. So we do, as you've noted, administer a number of contestable programs to support training, and we have been working with the Tasmanian Wool Harvesting Training Advisory Group to support funding and explore funding pathways for them to support training in the sector through our existing programs. We appreciate that there are limitations in terms of apprenticeships and traineeships for them because of the casual nature of their work, and we do understand that, but we also have a number of other contestable programs that are for job seekers and existing workers that don't require an apprenticeship, so there's no eligibility issue there. I understand that the RTO that they predominantly work with, which is the SCAA Shearer Wool Hander Training Incorporated, which is an industry partner, is already an endorsed RTO with Skills Tasmania, so they would certainly be eligible to apply for funding through our contestable programs. So we have provided them with advice in relation to the eligibility and the suitability of those programs, and we would continue to work with them and welcome an application. The Building Skilled Workforce program opens in September, and we have written to them noting that we'd like to work with them on exploring an application.
So they haven't had shearing schools for a year, and my understanding is as recently as yesterday they are still unable to apply for those, even the ones that you are suggesting. So could you give certainty to this committee that if an application is provided to one of those contestables, obviously they have to go through that process, but
Yes.
they are actually eligible and they could be funded through the grants that you're actually directing them to?
Yes, if they apply through the contestable programs as an endorsed RTO, they will be eligible.
And one of the other things that's worth mentioning, Ms Finlay, too, is that wool classing and a range of different agricultural courses are also available through fee-free TAFE at the moment as well. So really encourage any learners, young or old, if
This is
they're
a concern that we've got shearing sheds with no shearers in them at the moment. We've had a year without shearing schools.
And I think we've
Be good if it
provided
was
you an
resolved.
answer on that, Ms Finlay. I'm just talking more broadly about the industry as well.
Ms. Daniel.
Thank you, Chair.
The wet centre when it does happen.
Chair.
Ms. Finlay.
Minister, if I can ask a follow-up question to the shearing schools. I've got documentation here of over a year of correspondence between the industry and the government around a need to commit to shearing schools. With 12 months of no schools, it is having a massive impact on shearers. The chair of Taswool and Training and the advisory group has confirmed with me now that the grants that you are forwarding them to, they are not eligible, even with the applications by the SCAA. Can we have a commitment that someone will meet with them to confirm who they can get this information from, and will you commit that Alexandra Patterson will meet with them to solve this? It's been ongoing 12 months. Are you able to do that? You can?
Yes.
Have you got a meeting with them specifically booked already, or can you make a booking with them to meet with them?
I understand there's plans in place at the moment to meet next week.
With the chair?
Yes.
Because
whoever they wish to bring, yes.
Okay, if you can make that commitment, because over a year of no schools, shearing shortages, we've got shearing sheds with no shearers in them and people having to go out of Tassie to get them, it's a real impediment to the industry and they are beyond frustrated.
Yes, we know it's been an issue and we would like to see them lodge an application, so we will work with them to that end.
But they can lodge all the applications they like, but if they're not eligible for them, it
We
doesn't no
understand
good.
our eligibility criteria and we'll work with them.
Thanks.
Well, I've got one more, Chair, if we've still got a bit of time.
Ms. Dow.